Hello, beautifuls. Welcome to the Art of the Oracle. I'm delighted to be able to read for you today from the Wisdom of the Elders Oracle. I've been using the deck all week. Beautiful messages of really the united theme for the first couple days has been around transformation and recognizing the developments as we transform into the next stage of what's going on. So I'm excited to see what's going on. And I want to wish Ken a happy birthday. If you're watching this, this is on his birthday. So Ken, if you're watching this, much love to you. Happy birthday. All right, so let's dive in and see what message that we have for the collective. Thank you for bringing your beautiful energy here today for this reading. Let's check in. Wow, okay. So the energy in the cards feels a lot different today than it has all week long. And it feels very mysterious and actually a little bit like I feel like it's going to make me work a little bit here. So thank you for bringing your beautiful energy here. What do we most need to know on this day as we move forward here with the energy? What is the information? Right, so what I'm going to do is unlock the information in this way. Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to take the first few cards and we'll see what happens. Bravery. So this is part of, there are 7, let me go to the guidebook and see how exactly that they word it, the 7 grandfather teachings. And so this is number 3, bear, and learning to be able to walk in your truth, be brave and be aware, be able to stand tall, and know that you are divinely guided and protected. As you can see here, all 4 directions, everything looks very protected here in this particular card. I'm gonna take a peek under the guidebook and see what it has to say around bear, because I'm not sure that he's ever come out before. It's having a state of a fearless heart. Wow, I love that. Bravery is the gift that bear provides us. So it's asking us to be brave, I think, around these transformations that are happening, and know and trust within your heart that the highest good will come to all of us right now. So the card here says, are you being called to exhibit bravery? You may be asked to embody the courage, and it's an opportunity to take a challenge that might kind of knock you off balance a little bit. That was one of the cards from yesterday. But embrace that ability, and it is creating some awareness maybe of some inherent fear that you have. So when a fear rises up, it's like a separation point between you and your divine guidance and your divine self. So when we push ourselves out of our comfort zone, fear sometimes creeps in there. So it's asking you to trust in the rewards that happen when you risk something. My son just went skydiving, and that was something that I always wanted to do, and then I had a fear around it as I got older, and so that's one of the reasons why I never did it. But he did. He went out there and did it. I'm so proud of him. So this is the interesting thing. So if you times this card by 13, you're going to get 39 exactly. So they're both elements. So bravery and the pipe ceremony around a sacred prayer. And I've never received either one. So I can't remember when I bought these cards, when I brought them into the whole collection that I have, but I'm going to say it's at least 6 months ago. So the pipe ceremony is a very sacred ceremony. It's usually used with sacred tobacco. When I was in Peru, they had the coca that they used a lot of times in sacred ceremony. There are a variety of different things that you can use in these pipe ceremonies. And a friend of mine just told me about a sacred ceremony when people pass where they use a pipe. They're honoring the death or the passing of someone, excuse me, and then they discard the pipe. Like they break it because it's broken in honor of this. Like the smoke is like helping to energetically send a prayer, right, to the and it's done in a sacred space around somebody and honoring them as they pass. So in the guidebook it says that there's two types of pipes. One can be used by anyone who wishes to use it for a personal prayer or on behalf of others, and the other is solely for pipe carriers who carry the pipe on behalf of all people. A pipe carrier is born into the role, a calling that requires immense amounts of responsibility that is not to be taken lightly. That's very interesting because it's sitting here, which feels like in the center of the reading, and I have a big storm. I don't know if you can hear the rumbling outside. So the sacred ceremonial pipe embodies both masculine and feminine. And the bowl, so as you can see here, there's always a bowl to a pipe, and then there's a channel that receives, and then you blow out the energy from the smoke that's received. So the receptacle represents the female, like the womb space or the holding that women do, and then the stem represents the male, the entering, the female, and the seeding of life. Wow, very interesting. It's through this union that the connection to the divine energy of Great Spirit is made. That was one of the energies that we had earlier in the week. I think it was on Monday, was about the sacredness of this connectivity between the masculine and the feminine. It was really beautiful energy. And so I think it's going back and reminding us that as we go through these transformative times, that there will be unions along the way, that we should remember our prayers. And they're brought into our space as a almost like a sacred responsibility. When we meet people, we have a responsibility to ourselves and to the other person to hold the space of meeting in sacredness. So it is through the union that the connection to the divine energy of Great Spirit is made. So it's saying right now, if this card is being drawn, that there's something, an instrument perhaps, something that's asking you to create a space where prayers can be answered. And perhaps you feel very drawn to service of others, or perhaps there's a prayer that you have been wanting to have answered. And so it's asking you to be brave, to know that you can manifest or to help channel the things. So if you pray in a good and honest way for enlightenment, you will find serenity among the chaos. So it's about recognizing the value of the prayer and of where you are. And I'm going to draw one more card because I feel like it's that there is still one more message as we move forward in this, although these are really, really beautiful messages here. Okay, so this is the final. Wow, and this feels like, so I was feeling this Mother Earth energy very strongly today. So card number 15 is Earth's core, sacred fire and beginnings. So that was one of the things that has been reiterated over the last couple of days, is like begin again, that as we transform. And then we had the Sweat Lodge, which was about a rebirth. We are also seeing this beginning. And I feel like it's interesting because yesterday I felt like we were going into the cocoon phase, and now we've got these two darker cards asking us to honor this space, to be brave, and to honor this, whatever is happening in this time of sacredness, and that at the end of this will be a new beginning. And this really feels like it's representing, because we have these two divine feminine and they're a mirror of each other. So I feel like it's representative of Gaia, of the sacred fire and her birthing and changing. And I did hear something, I think it was yesterday, about the earth kind of cracking open from another channeler who was channeling Gaia's energy. And so that's what, with this rumbling that's going on outside, it's reminding me of the fragility, really, of all of life, that it can kind of be transformed very easily. And there's a sacredness about whatever is happening right now between all of us here on the planet, among the planet itself and among all of life in the cosmos, in the universe. So very interesting message for this day. 1 and 5 to me is 6. And the 5 is around transformation. So it's something about transformation. And the 6 to me is about tangible things that are going on in the earth right now. So there's a transformation and a change going on. And it's asking us to really be aware of it, to stay in sacred space, be brave, that this is what we are here to do. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you will hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the reading today. And if you have any comments or questions or anything you'd like to see in readings, I'd love to hear from you. So leave a comment. If you're interested in private readings, I also have some time on my calendar to do that as well. So I hope I can hear from you and help you out with any personal questions that you might have. So until tomorrow, have a really magical and amazing day. Bye now.